I will hold you in my arms.
Welcome back, guys, for the final day of Super Week. Hello, I am Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk today is Legacy mid laner Aaron Choo Choo's Plan, as well as our very own Julian Patry Time. Kai, how you going, guys?
I'm super. End of Super Week. I'm feeling awesome.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. And Choo Choo's, yesterday you guys had a matchup against Trident, the old sister team in Legacy Genesis. Game 1, what was going on there, mate?
I don't know. It went up and down, I guess. We ended up winning, but obviously the early game didn't go too well. Honestly, they just played well, I reckon. We just had an off game. We closed it out in the second game pretty well, so I think it was an all right performance, but definitely not what we were looking for.
Yes, but in the end, it was another clean victory for Legacy, and that means that they are still top of the table as we bring the standings up for you guys. You see, they are still undefeated. Direwolves, of course, are right behind them 5-2 with their 2 victories over the Chiefs. Chiefs are 4-2. Hellions and Sin Gaming are both 3-3, challenging for that 4th spot. We'll see them in action tonight. And Avant, Infernum, and Trident round out the table. Of course, all of that changed so much this week because it's Super Week. So let's take you through the schedule and everything that has happened so far. Schedule today is going to be Chiefs versus Sin before Hellions take on Infernum. Just want to recap some of the results, however, before we get out of all of this. On Monday night, Avant was able to 2-1 Trident, who were looking like they were going to rampage before Direwolves reverse swept the Chiefs. But this is when it gets interesting. Sin then 2-0'd the Direwolves, whilst Legacy retained their OPL Legend match. Of course, that puts Sin and the Chiefs 1 game apart right now. And that's where I want to kick off the conversation, you know. What the heck is going on with the Chiefs, and are Sin that good? They're, of course, going to be our first match, but you have to be waiting to get your hands on the Chiefs now in week number 9.
Yeah, they're definitely looking shaky. I mean, they're definitely not the Chiefs we all know, but I mean, them really losing their games to Sin really just... them losing their games to Direwolves again really showed me that, like, okay, this team is definitely going through some issues, and, well, I mean, they're playing against Sin tonight, so I guess we're going to see.
And I think for me, Sin is really the Cinderella story. We said if they're going to get anything done, they need to start winning this week in a very difficult matchup. And they've already done the first part. Beating Direwolves 2-0 in relatively convincing fashion is a good start for them. But you have to think the Chiefs are maybe even tougher, especially to play in a best of 3. So Sin, if they're going to really push up, it's going to be tonight. And they've started the journey at least.
Well, it certainly is going to be, because that is our first matchup, guys. It's going to be the Chiefs taking on Sin Gaming for Game 1. Chiefs in the top lane. It will be Swiper, Spooks their jungler. Cheese, apparently the best mid laner in the OPL, according to his jungler. Hey. Radier and Ejim is their bottom lane. I want to ask you about Cheese. What have you made of his transition into the Chiefs mid lane so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's all right. Like... I mean, like, I'm not going to say he's bad or anything. I'm not one for BM, really. But, I mean, like, you want to call your mid laner the best mid laner just simply because it makes you feel confident, makes your teammate feel confident. So, I mean, he's a great mid laner.
You've played against both of them, Swiffer and Cheese. Who's harder to lane against?
Okay, great. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. I'd probably say, just to give you an answer, just to satisfy you, I would say, in lane, I'd say Swiffer.
There we go. Swiffer, stronger laner. We'll see whether that is the case tonight because they're going up against a different mid laner. Let's take you through Sin's lineup. It is going to be Chippies in the top lane. Juve's their jungler. Rymeister is their maestro in the mid laner. Cardred and Rogue round out their bottom lane. Let's stay on the track of mid laner Z, because Rai is also someone that plays a lot of assassins, kind of mirrored, I like to call it old Choo Choo style, when you were playing a lot of Zed, a lot of Yasuo. Is Rai someone you look to for a little bit of inspiration? What have you made of his mid lane so far?
Okay, so to me, Rai is sort of the all-in strategy for Sin. I feel like Sin either lose or win with Raimeister. They will put in so much resources into this guy where he will go off on Diana, and he also, I can see him being caught a lot, and he constantly loses the game for his team. So I definitely think he's probably the key to win tonight's matchup, but then again, I think that's how they will end up losing.
Yeah, I actually like your point there. I think Rai Maestro is actually a very good nickname for the man that we might have to start adapting, because it does feel like he's conducting a lot of Sin's plays. I've talked to the man. I think he has some input in shot calling. He's a really smart player as well, as far as his knowledge of the game goes. And you can tell in mid lane, like Chu said, they always get behind him. They build strategies around him. Yasuo, Diana, Cassiopeia, not as effective, but who knows what Sin really have going for their mid laner. And I feel like the new Sin is definitely still driven with Raimeister, you know, conducting, pulling some strings and making sure everything goes okay.
And that's the next area I want to go to, is actually mid lane champion pool, because we're lucky enough to have Choo Choos on the desk. Both Cheese and Rai play very different champions. You are also adopting a different champion pool this year with a lot of Lissandra, a lot of gang playing, a little bit of Lulu in there as well for some good flavor. Like, what do you make of the champion pool of mid lane right now? Are these guys just trying to break the meta too much? Are they on the wrong track? What's going on here?
I think Cheese has a much better understanding of the meta. I think he just has an understanding of what his team requires of him, and Rai is like, he's constantly been sort of a wild card within the mid. He pulls out your Cassiopeia, your Diana. So he like, I think it's more that something he's confident on, and that his team knows they can rely on. So although I think they're both very good mid laners, I think Cheese is just in terms smarter in terms of what his team requires.
Well, we'll see if that has an impact on tonight's matchup. I also want to take a quick look at the bottom lane, because that is an area that Chiefs have gone from strength to strength. One of your old teammates in Egypt is also down there. What do you make of the Chiefs' bottom lane performance? Even though they lost against the Direwolves, that was probably an area of strength, you have to say.
Really strong. Like, Raider has been one of the best players in the region forever, and Egypt is obviously a good addition to their lane as well. I think every Chiefs game we see the same thing, consistent strength in the bottom lane, and they've really shown that even when their team is losing, they're still playing well, and Raider especially is playing well. It's not enough for the Chiefs with the way they play the game to just have their bottom lane be consistent. The Chiefs often win by having consistent laners, be able to apply pressure, good vision, and then just intelligently close the game out with strong macro play. We did see more strong macro play from Sin yesterday, so we'll see if they can attack it here, but you have to think matchup for matchup, the Chiefs just know how to play the game this way better than Sin do, and if Sin are learning how to play the strategy, that's great, but it's going to be really tough to break that here, and it is going to start in bottom lane, especially if they start snowballing. Raider and Egypt have shown they can take over games by themselves as well.
Actually, I just realized you play both with a couple of members down in the bottom lane. Cardred's across the other side of the rift as well.
They were all with us once upon a time.
Yeah, apparently they were. So this is a matchup of old teammates,
Yes.
Cardred versus Egypt. That's an interesting one. But what have you made of Egypt's performance so far? Because Egypt was very dogged about going after mid laners as a support player as well. Rogue's kind of a similar vein, very aggressive.
Very much.
Are they equally annoying to play against, or is Egypt still more annoying?
I actually would say that those two supports in the region are the most frustrating to verse, just because I'm constantly looking at my bottom side river, knowing that they're coming behind me.
Certainly. Okay, before we jump into the game, I want to get some predictions off the desk. Sin 2-0 Direwolves. Chiefs haven't beaten the Direwolves. Is this a game of paper, scissors, rock, or does that mean that Sin greater than Direwolves, greater than Chiefs? What are your thoughts?
I mean, like, the logic follows, right? But to be honest, I kind of wish I had a coin and just flip it, and that would decide it for me. I think, honestly, Sin looks strong, and a win here is crucial for them. I think they're coming with a great amount of momentum, and Chiefs losing to Direwolves in the fashion that they did cannot help their chances here, but I believe in the Chiefs' experience. They will reset. I believe Sin will take a game because they're looking much stronger after yesterday, but I think still 2-1 Chiefs.
Okay, so a hedge better over on the side there in Patriot time. Aaron, what are your thoughts?
I definitely think the Chiefs can pull it back. I mean, they've gone through their loss. I probably think they've done a lot of prep last night, so I will go with 2-1 as well. But I do think that Sin can pull a game.
Okay, so one game from both of us. Magic 8 Ball on the wall. Will the Chiefs win both games tonight? Indications say yes. So Magic 8 Ball is going for a 2-0 for the Chiefs just to keep the record. But we also heard from the players in regards to this matchup. So before we go to the casting desk, let's hear from Juves and Ejim about their thoughts on tonight's matchup.
There's a big part of me that wants to beat the Chiefs more than any other team in the OPL. I feel like we have like a rivalry. Ejim doesn't really respect us, but then again, like I know for myself, I don't really respect him. I think the top 4 is like Legacy, Direwolves, Chiefs, and Sin. And I think like on any day, anyone can take a series against each other.
I'm like definitely a shit stirrer, and then my biggest gripe with Sin is that they like, for a mid-tier, I don't know, mid-bottom tier team, they like talk so much like they're not. Like you just look at the ladder, and then like if you like put some of the stuff like people say, and then like equate it to where they are on the ladder, they're just like, what are you doing?
I think Chiefs would kind of just worry about their problems because, like I said, they don't have Swiffer. They're still trying to deal with it without having Swiffer. Like they've dropped games to Avant. They haven't looked convincing in their wins. They lost to the Direwolves, so if they should just probably worry about their performance.
1, 2, 3 irrelevant. Like I think someone like whoever wins this split will be us, Legacy, or Direwolves, like guaranteed. The 4th spot is absolutely like the buy round for whoever comes first in the semis, I assume, versus 4th, and like they're just like they're in the finals.
I think they overrate Cheese openly to fulfill his ego, so he doesn't feel like, oh no, like I actually can't replace Swiffer. You know what I mean? You have to feed that. You have to feed and feed and feed the mid laner with confidence, because all he's getting and all the feedback he's getting is like, he's no Swiffer, and people are slowly starting to realize it. And what they're trying to do is just stop the bleeding. Like, oh, no, it's okay. Like you're a god, you're a god, you're a god, you're a god. Like, it's just, you know, that's what it is.
Wow. Okay, Juice, some shots have been fired. Of course, E-Jim as well. Ridiculous. Hi, everyone. I'm Max Atlas Anderson. This is Indiana Frosker in Black, and we also have Matthew Fish Stewart on the end there to bring us this TriCast of Sin versus Chiefs that got a little bit more heated, you could say, after that.
Wow, some strong words. Shots fired on both sides there. Like, damn.
They're both out for blood in this match, you can tell.
Yeah, already, and my God, what? But look, Julian raised the question of questions already on the desk. Of course, Mr. Pastry Time there. Is this now a rock, paper, scissors? Is it the fact that, you know, the Direwolves lost to Sin, but they beat the Chiefs? Therefore, Sin, they should probably beat the Chiefs. Is that sort of how it works? Is it sort of going to go all the way around? Is it going to be Sin losing to Chiefs because of that particular little scenario, the matchup? Like, I don't understand.
No, let's understand that this is still very much an uphill battle for Sin. They had a very tough Super Week ahead of them, facing both the Direwolves and Chiefs. It was an upset what happened yesterday. Sin looked the best that they ever have so far in the OPL, so definitely on the upswing, whereas Chiefs are trying to be on the rebound. But I'm still going to call this an uphill battle for Sin, and they're still the underdogs here.
Definitely, they're going to have to continue that trend here to go up against the Chiefs today, and we're already in Champions League for Game 1.
Yeah, well,
Good observation.
is going to be banned away. Thank you very much there, Fish. We are, in fact, in Champ Select. Nivea is going to be banned away from Cheese, so already a couple of mid-lane bans. And the Nivea game that Cheese pulled out against the Direwolves yesterday was the one that we don't necessarily talk about, because we talk about the Direwolves winning. That was a 26-minute game where they just completely demolished the side. So
yeah, and
getting rid of that one's smart.
Yeah, played fantastic on that Anivia, like you said in the game. That was probably the strongest that we've seen the Chiefs in a very long time. So again, a team that's trying to be on the rebound versus Sin, who are just trying to be on the rise.
Yeah. See, Chiefs here, they've taken away Yasuo and Diana, so 2 target bans already been thrown out at Rymeister.
Oh my God. Okay, so the final ban for Sin Gaming has to be Cogmore, right? It has to.
Yes. You don't want to give Radier Kog'Maw.
No. Well, Rex, the target ban onto Juves, I actually really love this ban. This is where we've seen Juves be the most comfortable, and he's able to affect the map so incredibly well at the same time as Chiefs. That is probably not going to be a trend. A bit of a shout out there to Swiper's favorite champion, but I believe the Lulu probably a little bit too good to pass up right now, right?
Lulu, Gragas, Nidalee up for contention, specifically against Juves, though.
Maybe get rid of the Gragas.
Interesting, they're going to pick up Lulu as their first pick, as Cogmore was forced to be banned out by Sin. They don't want Radier to pick up that hard carry.
The thing is, right, the Lulu is just so important for the Chiefs because they just play Jinx with it. And he's still the same super long range, super hyper carry, and he's very comfortable on the champion as well. Just feel like, yeah, the Lulu. But look, Callista, Cogmore, and Anivia, champions that you do have to get rid of. It's like Sin just don't have enough bans. They're like, hang on, where's our final ban? Guys, team. Don't quite have it yet.
It's very curious also to see kind of 3 different target bans from the red side. Naturally, Kog'Maw's in a perfect spot for the 6.3 meta, so that's not as out of the ordinary. But the Anivia and the Callista, I mean, we've got power picks like Gangplank, Gragas, the Lulu, like we've already seen picked up left open.
I really like the Lulu pickup coming from Chiefs, because not only is it a good flex pick that you can throw into the top or the mid lane, but that leaves Gragas and Nidalee up, and it's very unlikely that Sin are going to take both. So they will be able to get one of those strong junglers.
Yeah, I actually really like that from the Chiefs, but the Gangplank being left up, something that the Chiefs haven't found success on themselves. Of course, it was Cheese playing the champion last time I believe I saw him, and it didn't go so well. But this time around, it is going to be Sin picking that one up. We'll see whether it goes to Rymeister or whether it is going to be Chippy's playing that one. I believe Chippy's the one that normally picks that one up.
This is a champion that we thought Chiefs would be banning in every single match to go up against Sin today. And now they're going to be flexing that one. So it could be Chippy's or Rymeister playing that one. But I'd be a lot more comfortable seeing Rymeister in one of his signature assassin plays. We saw him have a good LeBlanc game yesterday, so maybe he can pull that one out as well.
Likewise, Juves has looked fantastic on Gragas most recently. So again, yes, I agree with the Rek'Sai being taken away from him just because Rek'Sai offers so much control over the map, and Juves has been fairly consistent on that. But he really came out of his shell and played like a beast yesterday on Gragas.
Yeah, his Gragas was
Excuse
fantastic.
me, Monday. No, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. It was yesterday. It's Super Week, Froster, and we understand you've been casting every single day. My God.
What
they
year
can
is
all
it?
meld into one, exactly right. Braum and Nidalee are going to be locked away, though, here for the Chiefs. I love those two picks.
That's
Fantastic.
Lucian.
Is it?
Yes. If Sin don't take it away here.
Well, Cardred looking at the Corki here, can flex that towards the mid lane, but Cardred is known as that Corki player, as is Radier, actually, on the other side of the rift, as the Chiefs now to round out their comp. Radier, just pick Jinx, man. Just do it. Don't be scared.
Lucian works so much better.
Does it?
Yes.
Imagine, like, the Wild Growth Primal Surge.
I'm not saying that Jinx wouldn't work beautifully here, and obviously Radier is a very confident and very competent Jinx player, but naturally Lucian just has far more synergy with the Braum just because of his double tap on the passive. He's able to proc concussive blows so much easier. We know that teams like SKT made the Lulu Lucian composition famous, powerful. Radier's a fantastic Lucian player.
He is. All signs point to Lucian. You're exactly right. If we shook the 8-ball right now, he will probably tell us that Lucian will probably be the pickup. But it was, of course, the Alistar and the Corki locked in on the side of Sin, and we'll wait to see exactly what that's going to be. Only 8 seconds to go.
So that's something I really want to talk about. Picking up Corki here is a really nice pick for Sin Gaming, because now they can flex Corki in the mid or the bottom lane. They can flex Gangplank in the top or the mid lane. And that means they can allow Rymeister or Chippies to counter-pick their matchup. And these two solo laners have a huge impact for Sin Gaming.
Yeah, well, we'll see exactly what he does decide to lock in. It was, in fact, Jinx that was locked in on the side of Radier, despite the fact that Frostgreen doesn't necessarily agree that he is the strongest option.
When you're on top, I guess it really doesn't matter. He could just lock in like Tryndamere AD carry and it's fine.
Well, actually, maybe a bit of a sign of disrespect here. We did hear the shots that were being fired across the bow on both sides of the rift. So maybe Radier just thinking like, I can just scale into this game. I got the Lulu there for support as well as that Primal Surge from the Nidalee. So maybe he just feels like I'm super confident.
It's
ready
also
to take some names.
kind of a discussion about how much power or carry potential that you want on your team anytime you take a Lulu. Although I don't necessarily 100% agree with this idea. The fact that when you take Lulu, you're sacrificing a damage threat, so you really need to take a hyper carry to compensate for it.
It's not how Cheese plays it.
Yeah, but also my thing is if games when the Chiefs are winning are ending at 26 minutes, Lulu is still very relevant in her damage output at that point in the game.
Well, it actually might be a time of the game where they need to focus, because you're looking over the side of Sin. They've got the Gragas, incredibly strong at the moment, but they've got a Gangplank Kassadin. That's a lot of scaling, but will it be enough to get them through that early game? Because we know that Rymeister likes to have lane pressure. That is when he plays the strongest, when he is ahead, and Juves also plays a whole lot better when his lanes are able to push forward and he can get into the enemy jungle. This is not necessarily working to those strengths of Sin. We'll see whether they can adapt their playstyle. We saw their macro improve. Has it improved to really cover up this weakness?
This is pretty much the go button for Spooks to invade and to contest Juves at pretty much every corner. Like you said, Fiora and Lulu are going to have the early pushes on both Gangplank and Kassadin, which means levels 1 through 5. That's Spook's time to shine. He can effectively walk in anytime he wants and just starts punching this Gragas in the face.
And I still really like the Kassadin pickup coming in from Sin as their last pick, because Rymeister on an Assassin once again. We've seen how devastating he can be on one of those champions.
So you're with the Assassin? I feel like Sin just gave up far too much map control in the first 7 minutes of the game. And if Spooks understands this and utilizes it, it's going to be really hard to bounce back.
Yep, I think if Spooks can utilize it, it's going to be really hard to bounce back. But once again, I feel like Sin are putting all their eggs on Sin's basket.
Yeah, well, Rymeister does seem to be the barometer for the side. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that the Chiefs can take this game #1, make sure you hop on Twitter, use that hashtag CHFWin. Yes, look, my whole voice situation just did not quite work there. Yeah, or if you think that Sin can take it, use that hashtag SinWin, which is much easier to say, over onto Twitter as well. And of course, if you've got anything else you'd like to share, maybe some vocal lessons for yours truly, just hop on and use that hashtag IamOPL and let us know all of your thoughts.
Or if you really like Fish's shirt.
Yeah, well, actually, I like it as well. That's a brand new one, right?
It sure is.
Damn,
You got it
looking
special.
good. It's looking good. But we are onto Summoner's Rift here, ladies and gentlemen. The Chiefs moving out on the blue side here, and we'll see exactly what Spooks can do. I love the fact that you point out that he really needs to get it going here in this game, because the last two against the Direwolves, it just looked like a different flavor of Spooks. It wasn't quite as powerful. We are going to have a look at the Keystone Masteries. Man, I love this graphic.
Yeah, always looks very nice as we actually see Sin on a 5-man invade, which then trades off the Chiefs to also go for their deep vision response on the opposite side of the map. The one Keystone Mastery that I really want to point out is Rogue.
Yeah, Wind Speakers. Where is it?
He doesn't have it. And again, we've been seeing a lot of the Wind Speaker's blessing come out on Alistar just because he's one of the few champions that has an AoE heal.
The mini Aegis that you taught me about on Monday.
It's kind of like a reverse, though, because it's giving you more armor than it is MR, whereas like the Aegis gives you... But same kind of concept, yes.
Okay, cool.
Wind Speaker's blessing on Alistar reminds me a lot of when Taric and Jarvan used to be two heavily played combos in the league, so it just gives your team so much armor when you use that AoE heal.
I like it. I also miss the old Taric Jarvan. Beautiful stuff.
But instead, Rogue is taking the, what is it, Bond of Stone?
Yeah, wanting to get a little bit more health, maybe get a little bit more aggressive. The Swiper's just in and out of vision as they go for this double jungle. Ooh, lane swap actually going to be matched here from Sin as the Chiefs going to start on their red buff.
Advantage is given level 1, however, to the Braum lane, and that is why.
Oh, Radiant didn't take the little guy.
Swap to his minigun.
Still fairly important, though, that Rogue did get it as opposed to Cardred.
Ah, good point. Well, getting pressured off this first wave. Radiant just switching around, demanding the respect up here. This is what we were expecting out of Ejim.
Chiefs matching this lane swap is really, really crucial for them because now Chippy has burnt his teleport into the bottom lane and Swiper's already been there.
This is ridiculous amounts of pressure, though, out of the Chiefs. So far forward.
And this is the thing, Alistar just really can't compete at level 1. You have full control, not necessarily because of Radier, although Radier's posturing very aggressively, standing on the back caster creeps, but it's all really an Ejim.
Threatening with that Winter's Bite. And as far as, you know, the lanes within lanes that you were teaching us before as well, I mean, how are you supposed to play the Braum Alistar when it isn't a Callista as much on the other side of the map, and it is, in fact, just Corki instead?
Well, unfortunately for Alistar, until he has his full combo, he really can't stand on either side.
Oh no, he can't lane!
He can't lane. He needs it. But at that point, you want to be standing on your Jinx's side, and you want to give Corki into Braum as long as he's using the creep wave in front of him. Most important thing about any type of champion that's going to be throwing out skill shots, Blitzcrank, Braum, Ezreal, is you want to have control of the creep wave, so that way you can push it forward. So obviously you have a larger shield in front of you.
That's something they gave up by trying to go for the double golems as well, because Chiefs were able to get to lane quicker and were able to take control of that top lane quicker than Sin would have been able to.
I like it. Oh, you look at the mid lane though, 19 CS to 11 at the moment. Cheese really doing well on the Lulu. He has looked very impressive on this champion in comparison to a lot of the others that he has been playing, of course. The Chiefs do like to run it. If you cast your minds back to Swiffer being interviewed about the Lulu play, it's you just have to glitter lance all the time. And it's so frustrating, I believe is a direct quote from the man. So Cheese just picking up that role quite nicely. Glitter lance.
Teleport actually being used by casting him there in the mid lane.
And does mean both of Sin's teleports are down. Chippy's had to use his to get to lane quickly, as Chiefs were able to send Swiper down to the correct lane in time.
That said, there's not a lot of gank opportunity or TP opportunity open to Chiefs on the map currently to make use of the fact that they do have Swiper's teleport available. Here comes Juves.
Yeah, Juves looking for the gank here in the mid lane. He's going to push the back button. We'll see whether he does pull the trigger if Cheese moves any further forward.
I think he's more so there just to cover for Rymeister. Obviously, Kassadin was pushing a little bit far forward, but Cheese has been fairly consistent in making sure that that creep wave is pushed into Kassadin.
That would make a lot of sense too, because he did say that Spooks has to be the aggressive one. He has to control the jungle, he has to stop Rymeister from getting ahead here.
It's more so, and we saw that Spooks was already contesting Juve's camps on the top right side there, but it's this idea that because Cheese has complete control of the mid lane, and because Radier and Ejim have complete control of the top lane, Spooks just has so much open space where he can freely invade, knowing that his laners can rotate first if there was a collapse. And technically on the bottom side, Fiora versus Gangplank should be the same scenario.
Yeah, that's a good point. That being said, Jude's keeping up very, very well so far on this Gragas into the Nidalee matchup. Of course, now that we are on 6.3, things got a little bit easier for Gragas to farm out his jungle early on.
Yeah, it's so weird. Suddenly Runic Echoes get so strong, and the number or the priority junglers are Elise and Nidalee and Gragas.
It's awesome. I reckon it's so cool.
I think that there's some sort of connection or correlation here.
Weird, man.
Weird. Fiddlestick's like, but it was my item.
They built it for me, and I'm still not getting played.
Get in there,
Dude.
Spooks.
Yeah, well, Jude's actually going to get the Raptor sense out, but lands the spear.
Rip.
Going for it, jumps forward. Rhymeister just can't do anything about it. No mana, half health. Jude just takes half of his health.
We got the ward. That's important.
Yeah, that is the main thing. Spooks is still getting mad, though. Look at him.
And again,
Darting
he's
around.
free to do this because look at his mid and his bottom lane. Swiper's just sitting there like, buddy, you need me to come? Are you sure? I can be right there.
Anytime you want. Anytime you want. He can't stop me. He can't stop me.
Rhymeister's in the mid lane with 0 mana and less than 25% HP. Like, do I need to rotate?
He's been sent back to base once again.
Oh, that was
Jeez.
close.
He's not only ahead in terms of CS, but he's sending him back to base, and now Rhymeister has no teleport to come back.
And what's important is Juves now gets to soak up this free EXP, but because he's not in his jungle, they see the enemy jungler. Look at where Spooks is. All of these camps are mine.
Yep, straight away able to utilize it. Very empty on the bottom side of Sin's jungle at the moment. Chiefs, this macro game that they were so known for as Rogue's going to miss the combo. Radier just, I think his move was list lazily to the left.
No one saw that.
Yep. Right Phosphorus Bomb is going to find the mark, but he's just solo laning right now.
Yeah, he's by himself, and unfortunately, in a situation like that, that should be the trigger for Rogue to say, okay, let's all in. But fumbled the combo.
It's the list lazily to the left tactic. It's a difficult one to counter. You just need to use all of your abilities slightly more to the left.
Why the left?
I don't know. That's the way he moved. Maybe if he was on the other side of the map, he would have gone the other way. But Rhymeister actually looking to try and put some pressure on towards the top side.
It's going to be spotted by a wall. Dun-dun.
Oh, there's the Gangplank ultimate as well. Radiant already used his flash and he's already used the heal. He's going to go down. First blood goes to Cardred. Sin turning it on already. Spook's going to try and answer on the bottom side though.
Not quite able to answer that. No, and he's still going to go in as Swiper's going to try and dive Chippy's ears, kiting around the turret
Oh,
nicely.
no.
Spooks! He takes another turret shot. Sin a 2-0 up.
Pretty
Fumble
disastrous
dive.
for Chiefs across the map. Want to give major props to Rogue right there. It was beautifully how he set that up. He W's to a creep and then flashes just slightly. I believe he had his pulverize almost in wind up. We'll have to check on the replay. And then nails Radier with it. So fantastic roam from Juve, but great play from Rogue.
Yeah, man.
Excuse me, Rhymeister.
What happened to all this map pressure that Chiefs were trying to control? It just seems like it's starting to slowly crumble.
This is something that I've actually said about the Chiefs multiple times. Getting ready for International Wildcard last year, I was kind of examining the Chiefs like, okay, what is their deal here? And Spooks, he's such a fantastic jungler, but I often call him a lazy jungler. And it's because his laners are so good. They're so strong. So Spooks, a lot of the time, won't push the envelope to take every advantage that could be available to him, because why take the risk versus reward of, I can make this invade and I can be a playmaker and I can push this game harder, but I know that my laners are already going to win, so why not just wait for them to win and farm up anyway?
Lazy jungler might be the right word as well here. He's going to steal it! No,
Juves!
not so lazy anymore. I was going to...
Like, he just alley-ooped all over Spooks. Like, Spooks went to dunk and he just...
I was going to mention how he's behind Spooks in terms of CS, despite the fact that Spooks has been the one that's been putting on pressure in his jungle. But, yeah, now picking up a blue buff for himself from the other side of the map.
That wasn't... Oh, he's waiting for the creep wave to move. Oh, no.
Oh, doesn't get the cute package clear.
That was unfortunate.
But look, just the early package. Maybe it had the cooldown a little bit lower.
Gotta
something
use your
like that.
package correctly.
Damn right you do, Cardred. 76 CS to 71 though. That has evened out just a little bit for Cardred here, as the gold will most definitely be even, given the fact that he has picked up that kill. Does have the Phage. Sapphire Crystal there as well, building towards the Sheen. As we are going to have a quick look at some Keystone Masteries, but Carbon, oh shit, what a bait! Chippy's definitely playing fantastically there. Well, Evian going to go forward. Nice headbutt back though. Doesn't get underneath the turret as Rogue does have the level 6. Breakable Wheel, it will be available if he needs it, as the spear is just going to slide in narrowly. But Sin only ahead by 300.
Yep, Spook's hanging around. Pings to go to the top lane. I don't think that they can dive this. I think it's just going to be pressure.
Chippies does have his teleport available. So does Swiper, though. Seem to have the advantage of their tower.
And it's more so the Gangplank ultimate is up and available. So I think it was just more Spooks walking into the lane, resetting the creep wave, and seeing if Radier and Egypt can continue to zone from here.
And now it's actually going to be Juves that's putting on the pressure inside of Chief's jungle. He just stole the blue buff. He just took the red. Now he's in bottom lane trying to threaten Swiper.
Yeah, clearing out some wards there as well. Swiper will probably lose this pink ward at the same time as Spooks is towards the top side of the map. Cheese is going to miss the Glitter Lance here in the mid lane as Sin, all of the control now in their hands, as the Gangplank being ahead is just so dangerous.
Juves is actually still down there. Of course, Swiper has to be suspicious. I don't think they'll pull the trigger. Diving a Fiora is still relatively dangerous. Not if you bouncer, though.
Yeah, they're trying to. Belly Bop is going to be there. Doesn't quite find the barrel as Juice just casually walks past.
Yeah, they didn't have eyes on where Spooks was, so
Shout
overly
out to
cautious
Nicky
and a lot of respect given to Chiefs here.
But having a Gangplank with this much control early on, I mean, that can't spell good things here for the Chiefs.
And it's more so because Rymaster won the top lane for Sin with that flank, and Juves has just been able to freely be on the bottom lane. And even though a successful gank hasn't been managed, that pressure alone has caused Swiper pause.
And this is also why I liked the pickup of Cassidy and Rymeister in mid lane. You did talk about how Spooks has to apply that pressure, but he hasn't. And look how much that has costed Sin Gaming. They had a very difficult start to the game, but now slowly but surely getting slightly further ahead.
See whether Rymeister can continue the pressure. Of course, hasn't hit his power point just yet, as he gets tagged by the Glitter Lance after the Rift Walk. A little bit frustrating there, but if Pix is on your face, can't generally move out of the way.
I feel like anytime you use your Rift Walk defensively, you've already lost.
Yeah.
And he's down
Bad news bears.
he is down by quite an amount of CS in that mid lane as well. But still being able to relieve some pressure from that top lane, which was pushed into the turret for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, and Werewolf actually in with a tweet. I think when Juice roasted liquid cheese, he became a grilled cheese. That is brilliant.
Now I'm just hungry.
At least he's not cottage cheese. No one likes cottage cheese.
I like cottage cheese.
Ew.
All right, it's all right. You can hang out with fish. Just don't worry about it.
Here we
can have
go.
him.
Spooks.
Yeah, looking for Chippies here. Throws down the ultimate as the Grand Challenge is down as well. Chippies already able to use the flash, but Swiper still after it. Slows him down. Spooks needs to land this, but doesn't. And the Chiefs do have to back away. Juice, fantastic positioning already here.
Big cooldowns out of both top laners, though. Swiper burning his flash, Chippy's burning his, but best case scenario, good use of the Gangplank ultimate to apply the slow.
Seems like this time Chiefs have learned their lesson, not going to try and tower dive that Gangplank.
Yeah, very smart. Of course, having Juice waiting in the wings there as well, being seen on his entry, is definitely going to deter them. I think that benefits the Chiefs even more, because they're like, okay, now we definitely shouldn't dive. Last time we went quite heavily awry.
Check out Spook's jungle right now. That's 6 wards. Excuse me. 6.
Yeah.
And a Scuttle Crab.
That is a lot of vision available for Sin Gaming right now. That pick would have been there for quite some time as well. Spook's not even going to check it this time as Juve's coming
They
in.
know
They
he's
knew
there.
he was there. But he's going to miss the body slam. Doesn't go for the flash. I like that. Just noticing the fact that Spooks was around. Didn't want to blow the summoner spell further all in. Just applying the pressure here to the mid lane as once again, oh man, loses it. Oh, Spooks getting aggressive. What? What? Where was the Mega Pounce? Ridiculous. Does take away the big Raptor though. Does have a level advantage at the same time as Juve's unable to quite find anything just yet in this game. Wasn't there for the top lane, that was Rymeister. Didn't make it to the bottom lane when Chippy's managed to get the outplay. So Spooks still ahead as far as the levels are concerned. See how things go. Radiant powering up as Chippy's just wanders into the mid lane.
He's trying to cover for Rymeister's back.
Definitely needs to. You can take a look at the mid lane really quickly. Cheese is 40 CS up on Rymeister. So I didn't mention that Rymeister roaming up into the top lane was able to help Sin out. They relieved that pressure from the AD carry and support duo. But this lane is heavily going in Cheese's favor still.
Yeah, really, really well played. The last time we saw him this far up in CS was his Nivea game versus the Direwolves. We'll see whether this is going to mean good things for the mid laner. We heard lots of shots fired towards Cheese, but so far farming better than the clock. Does have his Rod of Ages completed as well as a couple of Dolan's rings. He's going to be feeling very good this game, and he's going to have to, because him and Radier, it's up to them to carry this game through. Still with the CS lead in the bottom lane / top lane / whatever the heck you want to call it. Radier ahead now with his Renan's Hurricane for a lot of extra damage. See whether they can carry it through as Rogue. Wow, that was blind. What the hell, Swiper? That was cheeky.
Well, he saw Alistar clearing the ward out of the Tri-Brush, so knew it was a possibility that he could have been on that side. But there we go. Chiefs finally take their first tower. They do happen to trade it with Chippies down here in the bottom lane. So both side lanes now much more extended.
Oh, the one thing you have to talk about is the fact that Sin has locked down 2 Trinity Forces. If there's ever a time to do battle, they probably want to do battle right now. We understand. Oh, jeez! In a whole host of trouble. Uses the Wild Growth. Will be at least safe for now, but a fantastic explosive cast is going to lock him down.
Here comes the flank, however.
That's all like Spooks wanted to try and get that flank down. Missed a couple of his spears onto Card, who aggressively flashed forward there, but Sin, they still get the pick in the mid lane. Cheese.
The mid lane cheese pick.
Big thing, though, is the fact that Radier has the Rift Herald, so typically you would give this over to... hold on.
Yeah, Rogue does have to use the Unbreakable Will. Spook's just going to get delivered to Rymeister, though, as he has to try and get out. Primal Surge keeps him alive for now. Sin now moving forward. Juice with a hero play, but just going to get zapped for it. Stun down as well as Rymeister picks up Radier. The Ignite's there. The Spear's good. Not going to quite get enough damage.
Barely surviving with any health there, Rymeister. That's pretty much in the double digits.
Yeah.
Big thing, though, is that Radier went down. Again, the Rift Herald went to the AD carry. Their intent was very clearly to siege with that buff, as well as the AD carry into the mid lane, as opposed to giving it to the jungler, freezing and creating a farm lane. Here we go. We have the replay.
That was really smart coming from Rogue. He got jumped on by so many members of the Chiefs, but just immediately turned around. And this was good target prioritization coming from Rymeister. Knew that he was able to burst Radier down, just jump straight onto him as soon as he turned around with the zap.
Really nicely played. And look, used his Rift Walk aggression. That's the main thing.
I feel like he could have been doing this the entire time. Obviously, the concern is when he Rift Walks onto you, you just polymorph him.
Yeah.
But
Well, we'll see whether Cheese is going to be able to do that as Spook's throwing some spears around.
This has been a complete change in tempo for the game. We saw top lane, Chiefs were winning that 2-on-2 lane. Bottom lane, Chippy's had to teleport to the lane at level 1. Mid lane, Rymeister, he's still down 50 CS against Cheese. But these team fights are all going in Sin's favor.
Oh, Chippy's outright won his lane. He went completely to town. So Cheese now in trouble once again as Chippy's demonstrating how strong he is. The slow goes down. Another explosive cask. Nice wild growth out of Cheese, but it's not going to be enough as Chippy's, he wants to pick this one up. Oh, there it is.
Well, Cheese did go to town in that lane, but Sin are going to town on Cheese right now.
Damn right.
oh, teleport down bottom.
Now going to see Rymeister try and jump onto Radier, gets the slowdown. Immediately we see a flash come out from Jinx and Ejim.
Who is this Chippy's?
He's doing work right now, and that was the big thing. Featured matchup for us when we were discussing this match was actually between the top laners, Swiper and Chippy, simply because Chippy's victory over Sharp, Sharp's going to be hit or miss, kind of inconsistent, will either be incredible or just kind of serviceable. Swiper has consistently been a backbone, a spine for the Chiefs.
So far, only down by a few CS, but the fact that this Gangplank is doing so much work early is a huge warning sign here for the Chiefs.
And Chippy's is definitely staying true to that OC fighter mentality. 3-0-1, has picked up that BF sword alongside the Trinity Force. He's still looking for fights all across the rift.
And fairly massive that Sin Gaming were able to break that mid tower. It's 18 minutes.
Not quite there yet.
But that does mean that the next priority target for them is either going to be this dragon or it's going to be the top tower. We do see that Rymeister was kind of slated into this lane to push forward the creep wave. I'm just curious how Sin are going to reset and where they're going to prioritize their resources.
Take a look at the items really quickly. Hurricane Rush coming out from Radier. We've seen this from quite a few Jinxes as of late.
That.
That's the Radier build.
It's the BF sword into Hurricane. Not even completing the first major BF item.
It's the team fight thing. Okay, so here's the thing. If you complete an Infinity Edge, and your job is to siege towers, you can't crit a tower. So what most AD carries would do is they would grab upgraded boots, and then they would grab the 2 flat damage items, the pickaxe as well as the BF sword, because that way you're just getting the most out of pushing down towers. And it was very clear that that was Radier's intention by taking the Rift Herald, by moving into the mid lane. Just everything kind of went wrong when Kassadin managed to assassinate him.
Yeah. And it's also just been something that Radier really likes to do. He sort of had it told to him that, hey, Renan's Hurricane good on Jinx, and he's like, all right, tries it in a game, and he's like, this is my new favorite thing. Has been able to get it working out. And I do like the BF sword first. It's giving you a little bit more damage on those extra rockets. As Juves just says, TY for the leash.
Juves is playing like a monster this game.
Yes, Juves and Chippies have stepped up so far in this match.
He had a little bit of a slow start, but definitely looks like the more dominant jungler coming into this game.
What is he supposed to do when he's flanked by a losing bot lane because they were slow into the rotation, and then a Kassadin and a Gangplank in his 2 solo lanes? Again, the proactive player had to be Spooks in this.
And what he has done has been fantastic. He's been able to get 3 assists off for his team. You see this pressure after those lanes had some relieved pressure, and it's been fantastic coming out from him.
Yeah, the earlier start to this game.
Go.
All about Sin. Once again, preying on Cheese. Force Pulse comes out. Rhymaster gets the slow as the flash comes in. Spook's down here, though. Teleport coming in from Swiper, who's trying to get something done, but the package is going to get delivered. Cheese is going to die. Kaju grabs the kill with a Foss Bomb. And Sin just have all the answers.
Chief's positioning really getting punished there in the mid lane. You saw Rogue step up as soon as the Lulu was too far forward.
My goodness, this is a completely different Sin gaming than what we saw from the first few weeks of the OPL. They have definitely turned this one on for Super Week.
Yeah, finally, all of that practice that they put in on the offseason, all of the talk is coming to fruition. First the Direwolves, now the Chiefs. Of course, still early days. 22 minutes into this game, gold lead isn't completely ridiculous at only 4,000. Chiefs have come back from worse, but they're looking of all sorts right now. And we mentioned, look, Sin, if they've got anything, they got scaling. And the old Kassadin Gangplank, pretty good. Is that late game insurance policy, and we'll see whether they can carry this one through.
Well, on the other side, you still have Radier on Jinx. And we've seen Radier fight on Callista from a 10k gold deficit in his Direwolves game, so I can only imagine what he can do on this Jinx.
He's also tied up with a Lulu as well. Has that Rod of Ages stacking. Needlessly large Rod as well onto that mid laner. So he will have the comfort of and the protection coming out from both the mid lane support and Ejim on his Braum.
Yeah, I like it. There's also the fact that, you know, they're focusing a lot on Cheese in the mid lane here on the side of Sin. So Cheese still going to be a Lulu all game long. Doesn't really matter. Can protect his AD carry, can speed up the Jinx, make sure she's excited before she's even actually excited, which is cool. We'll see whether that is what's going to spell the victory here for Chiefs towards the end of the game. Swiper still farming up quite nicely, but behind Chippies, as you could imagine. Spears flying through onto Sin as they're looking to invade the bottom side jungle. And I like that they're moving up their vision, making sure that they know exactly where the Chiefs are. And this is the Chiefs' tactics, suffocate you out of your jungle. Chiefs are having to fight tooth and nail to grab any control over what is their side of the map.
And they're also making use of their Devil Teleport. They're sending Rhymeister to the top side. Likewise, I was going to say, the amount of champions that can effectively duel him right now without bringing over more than one resource, Radier is not the answer.
No.
As he's going up to meet that.
Have an Infinity Edge though, so the Jinx is powering up.
I will say that this is slightly suboptimal map play from Sin. Yes, I agree that they're doing a fantastic job pushing up their vision line, applying pressure through multiple waves, and identifying that they want to take bottom tier tower. But with Dragon down, they actually have a 6-minute window where they could be playing to the top side of the map, especially if this turns into a sizable pick to transfer into Baron.
Well, there's the teleport in. The ultimate's down as Cheese is tanking that one up. Juice went for the flash body slam, but doesn't land it. Egypt is going to survive with the help of their healers. Radier going off right now. Super Mega Death Rocket is almost going to get Juice, but not quite as he's running forward. Juice in trouble. Body slam gets him out of the way. As the Zap can't quite find him. Rhymeister looking to try and re-engage as the Chiefs. They win a team fight under the turret.
And everyone is calm. Nothing much lost here as everyone's going to reset for this Dragon spawning in 1 minute 40 seconds.
That was a really aggressive decision coming in from Sinner. And right before that fight broke out, I was going to say, this really looks like the Sin gaming that we've seen for the past 2 weeks, where Rhymeister from the mid lane will transition into this kind of split pusher who will go into the side lanes and try and kill somebody before they pick a fight. but that was them just forcing a dive underneath that turret.
Yeah, they were looking to try and grab the pick onto Radiant, but they just couldn't quite get there. And you have to think that, you know, if they had have singled out the Jinx, very different story. But successful play out of the Chiefs. Double summoner spells blown now, though, and there's going to be 5 minutes of danger for Aradia.
I mean, Chiefs effectively held them off. I'm not going to give them too many kudos at this point. They didn't pick up a kill. They just saved their tower.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Understandable, too. Understandable.
And we've talked a lot about Sin, how they have this scaling team comp. Look at the items they've picked up so far. Trinity Force Infinity Edge onto Gangplank, and he's working on what seems to be either an Essence Reaver
It'll be an Essence Reaver.
or another Infinity Edge coming here, but Chippy's, he is scaling up to be an absolute monster. Mid lane, Rhymice has gone straight for the Lich Bane after his Rod of Ages.
Man's going aggressive. It's so unlike Rhymeister as well to go aggressive builds.
The Essence Reaver was such a boost
That was sarcasm.
to
PS, just
Gangplank.
everyone. That was sarcasm.
I got you.
Yeah, good. Fish gave me a worried look. Oh, blocks it. Swiper probably still will die as Rhymeister might be in a bit of trouble. But Grand Challenge not enough. And Sin will be able to collapse on this turret, but that was a very nice riposte.
Yeah, beautifully played right there from Swiper. Unfortunately, he was still alone on the tower.
Yep, 4 still better than 1.
And this time it's not Sin sending Rhymice to do the split pushing. They're actually going to allow Chippies to do that job. He's working on damage on that top lane turret.
Teleport.
It's because Chippies has his TP, whereas Rymaster does not. But they will now be able to fall back on the Dragon, whereas Chippies is going to get this for free in the top lane, maybe in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, Spook's looking for it. The barrels don't find him as he's
dead.
jumping on top. The rocket comes in from the cannon barrage. Of course, that middle location, not great. As Chippies does have to use the ultimate, but does get out.
He's still forced to flash from middle.
That was miscommunication. Cheese was on the way. He has Wild Growth as well of his flash. I feel like Spooks could have baited that a little bit harder.
If he stayed in that cannon barrage, he would have just flat out died.
Well, obviously you want to clear it, but
Joys.
just stand with your mouth open.
Yeah, I know. It's like, cannons? Lulu, save me from the cannon. That's a gigantic cannon. I'm a small fairy lady. I'm not going to be able to save you, Spooks.
You
I'm
went
sorry.
deep.
Well, it is al-
I felt like there was some sort of image being portrayed.
well, it is almost 27 minutes into the game.
Paint me a picture with your words.
That was beautiful. Okay, Essence Reaver is going to be completed here for Chippies, though, as he goes back. So that's the recipe and a pickaxe that he had sitting in his back
This is
pocket.
so
Nicely
okay.
done.
It's been a while since I've really examined Gangplank's item build. Like, if you think way back to Gangplank, when you really got reworked.
Heart of
just-
Gold, Philostone.
No. Rework Gangplank, where it's like double Infinity Edge, Trinity Force, like
Too
literally
many swords.
the most expensive build that you could possibly ever imagine. Essence Reaver cut so much of that cost down.
Yeah.
Still a pretty expensive build going Trinity Force IE at any time.
Well, yeah, obviously, because they're the two most expensive items. The fact that you don't have to get the double Trinity Force because you're not... no, excuse
Don't
me,
have to hold too
Infinity
many
Edge.
swords anymore.
Because obviously you want to stack the crit, because the barrel's ridiculous.
Well, he's still, yes, ridiculous. That is the definite word for Chippies right now. Is Radiant trying to help clear out these mini waves. They're doing a decent job, though. Lots of pink wards, man.
I always love when I see a team with 4 pink wards. A team after my own heart. All have blue trinkets. 2 sweepers.
You even mentioned that
Oh,
last
God.
night.
Oh, I think I'm gonna cry.
Well, in goes Rogue. Spooks is caught out. Massive knockback onto Cheese, who Wild Growths himself has to run away as the Chiefs trying to close in. Spooks still very low. Cannon Barrage just destroys him. Cardred gonna pick that one up. Split up fight now with the explosive cast. Swiper's gonna die. Massive damage from the Gangplank. And now the Fiora has to run. Chippy still tags him. And Synagogue nuts. This is huge.
Sin just destroy the Chiefs on the mid-tier tower. This will surely be an inhibitor, which opens up so much more map control for them. Again, Sin have shown some of the most ideal League of Legends in the past week, and it's not stopping.
They're going for the game, Atlas.
Yeah, they're going for it. Nexus turrets are now under fire as Barrel is going to get destroyed by Swiper. He wants to try and find something here as he's dashing around the fight quite nicely, but Nexus turrets are going down. The Nexus to fall as well. Half health now as Swiper is still trying to do something. Cardred may fall down as EJ makes his way in, but the Nexus, it's dead.
That was a perfect game by Sin Gaming. That is 11-0. They took down the Direwolves, and the Chiefs are next.
What is going on? Sin Gaming have definitely stepped up over the past
They're
2
playing
weeks.
ideal League of Legends. I cannot emphasize this enough. People always say, OCE, Bronze, NA, whatever. Like, if you just hide the name, Sin are playing the map correctly. That's how you play League of Legends. They're exactly where they need to be almost all of the time. They've made maybe like 4 positional errors or just kind of things where I'm like, that's not super optimal, but that's how you do it. When you're against higher mechanical players, like let's be real, the Chiefs are so much stronger mechanically across the roster.
Well, they should be.
But if you can't out macro a team, you're just going to lose on the map.
Yeah, well, it's true. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an analyst desk. We are going to throw to them to see what they made of that Sin perfect victory. Thank you so much, Atlas. Just want to point out it wasn't a perfect victory. There was 1 turret taken, and that is where the good news stopped for the Chiefs, unfortunately, because that was probably the most comprehensive victory we've seen all year, and it was against the defending champions by a irrelevant team, Pastry Time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, to be honest, I had the Chiefs in this game for the exact reason that Sin just won a game. I've been much impressed with their cleanliness and how they've been playing the map in their macro game. But that's what the Chiefs are known for. They always fall back to strong mechanical players, reliable laners, and great play around the map. I don't know where the shot calling's gone or where the macro play's gone, but Sin have it and Chiefs don't right now.
Somewhere in Europe, apparently. Aaron, that's got to feel good. Just sitting in a room, having a bit of a chuckle.
I think James actually tweeted that he actually loved every time. He loved watching every time Chiefs lose, and I can definitely relate. No, but I can't believe. I really can't believe how quick that game just turned. I mean, Chiefs, in my opinion, had the superior composition. They had a Fiora, which had no competition. They were up against a Cassidy and a GP. Like, they knew Fiora would be able to just split push to victory. And they also had a Jinx Lulu, which is one of the best combos you can have into GP. I just think Sin just took over the game too early, and it just snowballed, as we saw.
So what went wrong? Because we're sitting here looking, and we're like, they're 1,000 gold up in just CS. Rymeister's been shoved out of lane 3 times. Cheese has nearly organically taken a mid lane. Everything was going Chiefs' way. Like, what happened that game?
I think they just got... I mean, there was 2 picks. There was like 1 top and then immediately 1 bottom.
Yep.
That dive bottom, I have no idea.
What a disaster.
Yeah, you cannot dive a GP. If his W is up, it's percentage healing. So the lower he gets, the bigger that heal's going to be, and they should have known for that.
Yeah.
But really, just from that point onwards, like, Sin just started making picks. They were given that little edge in terms of like GP can now get ahead of the Fiora. He actually ended up out split pushing the Fiora, so once that happened, the game was over.
Yeah, Snowball and Gangplank always very scary, and I feel like the junglers kind of wish they'd swapped champions at some point there, because like they were just plays after plays from Drews, and Spooks, who's an excellent Nidalee, couldn't keep it under control, couldn't help gank for his teammates, tried to gank GP like you mentioned, and not going to get too much done with Nidalee Fiora.
And just want to throw it out there, how long ago do you reckon we have to go back to see a Chiefs/Immunity lineup not get a kill in a game? Do you reckon it's ever happened before?
I will have to definitely check the history books, but I can't remember off the top of my head, and I've been around for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
The last time it
I
happened.
can't remember it either, guys, but it just happened on your screen. Sin go up 1-0, but don't go anywhere. 3.5. Chiefs get a chance to hit back, or we'll see whether Sin can close out the series.